I didn't get out of bed until 2 p.m. today. I woke up frustrated. I feel like these days just feel like they're repeating themselves without a lot of progress. And I know you have to just keep showing up, keep showing up, keep showing up. But sometimes you get tired. I really tried to show up this weekend. I went to the farmer's market, took myself on a little date, and really just tried to be inspired by the different vendors and the different farmers. I got some lamb bacon, which was so delicious. I had never heard of it before, and it was delightful. I've already eaten it all. I got some eggs, and yeah, I can show you a little bit of what I was getting. Here's my haul from the farmer's market today. Some red onions, some cilantro, some basil, and I saw these beautiful dark-skinned farmers from Kishri Farms. And they had eggs, and I also got these really, really beautiful sun gold tomatoes. I had to support them. I don't remember the name of these farmers, but I also got some, this lamb bacon is crazy. I'm so excited. So excited. I felt really inspired while at the farmer's market, seeing the ways that things were displayed and things I had never had before, the beautiful presentation. But anyways, I woke up this morning and I was not in the mood. I woke up early, actually, I think before 7 a.m. and I just was swiping and dragging my feet on starting my day. I'm not even sure particularly what was so heavy this morning. Sometimes my dreams are so vivid and intense. I just wake up feeling exhausted, but this morning I just wasn't having it. And my vision and plan for this morning was to get to the gym, get a good workout in, and proceed with my day. And since I didn't go to the gym, I just kept procrastinating, kept getting later. I started to beat myself up, and the cycle continues, right? So eventually I did my meditations and I said, get up, make some coffee. And then I decided to fast until I got a workout in. So once I started working out, I felt a lot better. I also listened to some Myron Golden, which sometimes when I'm super triggered in my scarcity mind, I don't like to listen to his talks because has so much money, and it feels like it's easy to be inspired when you're on that side of it. But from what I was listening to today, I think it took him like 14 years to get successful at what he was doing. He just kept showing up and kept doing it. And, now he's had 7-figure months. Whew, I couldn't even imagine. I'd be happy just to have a few figures right now. But yeah, I kind of switched my mind state around and got moving a little bit. One thing that Myron was saying that is scriptural, I really had to look at again, is what faith is. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Let that sink in. Myron kind of just kept breaking down how it's biblical, the ways that our minds should think, the ways that our heart should be postured, and the ways that we should go for things based off of basically the biblical practices mirror business practices that are successful, and also mirror personal practices that can set you up to succeed. If you don't believe you can succeed, you don't really want to try, and you feel anxious or worried, and it all plays in. Part of why I felt like he kept referencing the Bible saying, be anxious for nothing. Tomorrow's already going to be enough to worry about. Be anxious for nothing in the future. Be anxious for nothing in the past. And it's easy to say, but how do you walk in faith without the anxieties of what's really going on around you? Then he went a little bit deeper into, when you look at everything that's going around around you, that's going on around you. The reality is that we can't see the molecular structures of everything going on around us, right? Like each item is made of molecules, but we can't see those molecules individually. Just like one's idea to do something is birthed by taking this thing from space and doing it. It's not something that you can see before it's done. And Hebrews 11:1 says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I've heard that a bunch of times, but really thinking about what does that even mean? And so I started to look into the word substance. Biblically speaking, substance can be like material goods, wealth, spiritual assurance, foundation, divine essence. Yeah, like foundational assurance. So faith is this substance. It's hoping for the substance, this assurance, this thing coming to fruition, this walk being fulfilled, while it's also the evidence of things not seen. So it's this substance that you're hoping for while you don't see it. Walk by faith, not by sight. So when I really started to think about that, I thought, man, I'm really letting my feelings and emotions dictate how I move. Successful people don't do that. I've always been a feeler. I've always based things on how I feel. It's hard to not feel a type of way when you're in a certain life situation, but I gotta still show up, because if I'm trying to change, it starts with me. So I'm glad I got that workout in. I needed that workout. And then I did a little more research on the word substance. Ragush, I don't know how you say it. Rakesh, was it Ragosh? Anyway, the Hebrew word for substance, something gathered. It could be possessions, equipment, goods, wealth, herbs, property, plunder. That's what the Hebrew word of substance means. So yeah, I'm just gonna think on that more. I mean, as I've given my life to God, I'm learning that you can't just simply stop at that step. You have to do research, you have to study and try to understand more of what was the point of some of these scriptures? How are they trying to point your pathway to how to have a decent time in this world, in these bodies while we're here? And what I'm walking away with today is I can't judge what's happening underneath the surface by what I see. It's easy to want to, but that's not what we're doing right now. Part of why I get frustrated by what I see in my life right now is because I'm comparing it to the past. So I was on the city bus the other day. I had to take 2 buses to get to work. Mind you, this is a $25 an hour job. So there's over an hour commute to get to this job for a few hours, then to need to bounce back to go get my car out the shop. And while I was on this bus, I was just thinking, man, I used to make I had contracts sometimes for $15,000 to do photo commissions for large organizations, or $9,000 to show up for a wedding. And what am I doing on this bus right now? And that really just helped me to see where I was maybe feeling sorry for myself and where I maybe needed to be humbled. Real talk, just I am no better than anyone else on the bus, and yeah, it's not the end of the world. There's worse things it could be. I'm gonna get off the bus and go into a job where I'm gonna make money, and then I'm gonna go home to a warm house and where am I focusing to put my energy? Where am I focusing to keep my thoughts on? And I ended up putting in a really inspiring conversation, which is honestly what holds me up, is listening to other people talk about how they made it through things. And then I see there's a common thread with all of us in humanity. There's common fears, there's common needs, there's common failures or feelings of failures, and there's different stages of life where you go up on the mountaintop and down in the wilderness, through the lush gardens and in the desert. It's a reciprocal, energetic dance. And it's easy to not want to be where I am now and look back at where I was before. And there's also a calling, like, what am I gonna do now? So I don't have the answers. Basically, my point is that I felt like I wasted the morning. I'm a little disappointed about that. I'm also stuck on step 4 in the recovery program process. I know it's the most important thing I can do right now, and I don't want to do it. So I'm frustrated with myself about that. I'm planning on doing it this week. I will report back when it's done. I have to get it done. Anyway, before we go, I want to show you a couple of cute things in my house. I moved into a smaller apartment with my daughter, and 90% of the art is up on the walls. Things are starting to get settled and homey, with things being out of boxes and just kind of this coming together as a home. I feel, yeah, like my head is a little more clear for some moments. What do you do when you keep getting hit with bills and hit with pressure and weight, and you're trying to stay on track, and you're trying to think of creative ways to live your life and to keep moving forward? What do you do when nothing feels like it's working? How do you save yourself so you can show your daughters what it's like to get back up? How do you rely on God to save you when you can't hear him speaking? How do you figure out your next step when you don't have anything to stand on? How do you have faith and keep it when you can't see things around you changing? I don't know, that just made me feel emotional. I'm not crying on this video though.